do you mean by periodic classification of elements? For example, let us take in a shop, right? If you observe in a shop, the shopkeeper used to place the soaps on one side, right? Packets on one side, and all rubbers in one side, all sugar in one place. Like that, he will be dividing them into their categories, right? And he used to place them at one place, right? And in such a way, the classification, that is said to be as classification, the process of assigning the groups of having the same properties at some places is said to be as classification. And if you observe that not only in practical, that is even in the shopkeepers, what they are doing in shops, that is by their properties they are classifying them into groups. In the same way, the scientists also decided to classify the elements into groups. Previously we have studied two classifications, that is two groups, that is metals and non-metals, right? Now there is a further extent of investigation process done on these elements, and therefore they have done the classification of the elements based upon their physical and chemical properties. Now here you will be seeing that how to make an order, that is making order out of showers, early attempts of the classification of elements. That is the first scientist, Johannes Trites. He is the Johannes, the great scientist, has done the first classification, that is said to be as early attempts of the classification of elements. In this classification, in 1817s, the scientist known as John Wolfgang Johannes is a German scientist. He had done the classification, and that is said to be as triads. And the name given is triads, and he classified three elements into one group, and he discovered three groups. That means he had given three names, that is group A, group B and group C elements, and these three groups are said to be as triads of Johannes. Now in this he has said, that is the elements are classified, or they are clubbed together to form a group with the help of these atomic mass numbers, that is the first and the third elements summation, that is the average of these two elements atomic mass will give the middle one's atomic mass number. That is, it is not exactly, it is approximate. Okay. Now let us see the three groups, that is group A. First one is, that is lithium, sodium and potassium. Lithium, sodium and potassium. The symbols of these are as shown. And now he has taken his atomic masses of lithium is 6.9 and sodium, that is 23.0, and for potassium, that is 39.0. If you observe here, the average of these two, that is lithium and potassium, will give the atomic mass of the sodium approximately. Now let us see, this is the first group, triad A, group A, and the next group B elements are cadmium, selenium and barium. That is, cadmium atomic mass is 40, and for selenium it is 87, and for barium it is 137. And the third group, that is group C elements, that is chlorine, bromine and iodine. That is 35 for chlorine, that is atomic mass, and 79 for bromine, and for iodine it is 26. These are the three groups, that is group A, group B and group C are the three classified elements. That is, he has classified the elements into groups, and these three groups are said to be triads of Johannes and based upon the atomic mass. And let us discuss the other classifications which has been invented by other scientists further. Previously we have discussed regarding the Johannes atomic masses classification. Now here we will be seeing the Newland's law of octaves. What do you mean by Newland's law of octaves? Law of octaves. Octave means it's a 8, right? And if you observe the music, you will be seeing the sa, re, ga, ma, pa, re, na and sa. That means if you observe here, the first 7 elements are sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni. But if you observe the 8th element, it is repeating the first element, right? That is the similarity of first and 8th element. So here the Newlands, the scientists, have considered this property of law every first element's properties. Now what he has done is he has taken all the elements and he has arranged them in an increasing order of their atomic masses. That is, the first element is coming from hydrogen to thorium, that is the 56th element. He has assigned them in the increasing order from hydrogen to thorium, and later what he has done, that is in 1866 John Newlands, that is the English scientist, what he has done is that he has arranged the 8 elements. He has taken the first 8 elements, assume that is the first element is hydrogen and the last element is thorium, and what he has done, he has classified all these elements up to 8. That is, the first element will be repeating the 8th element's same properties, that is they are in similar. So again the 9th element will be repeating the same properties that as of 18th element. Like that what he has done, he has done the groups, that is classified into 8 elements, that is 8 elements in one group, and the second group consists of other 8 elements. In this way he has arranged them in the order. That is, if you observe here, the hydrogen and fluorine, chlorine, cobalt and nickel and chromium, this is bromine, all these 8 elements will be having the same properties. And if you take the lithium next, lithium, sodium, potassium, copper and rubidium, right? These will be having the same properties. Like that he had divided all the 56 elements into groups containing of 8 elements of having similar properties, right? Now, if you observe here, he has classified these based on the octaves found of music, right? Now, this law is said to be as law of octaves, and this is discovered by Newland. Now, what he had done is, the major difference, that is what he has given is, after this 56th element there are no more elements. We cannot find any element. He has given the conclusion. But the drawback of this Newland's law of octaves is, after these 56 elements also, the other scientists have discovered more than these elements which are having different properties and which are violating this law of octaves. So for this law has extended, that means it has been sustained for some period of time. Later, some elements which are generated or which are discovered by other scientists are not following this law of octaves, but still they are fitted into this periodic table, and we will be seeing them in a clear picture of these periodic atoms and elements in detail. If you observe here, you will be seeing that modern periodic chart of the elements, right? In this, the modern periodic table is classified based upon the atomic number and mass number and the shells in which the elements are present. That is K, L, M and O, P shells. That is either we can say that or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shells. That is, in the first shell, that is K shell, we will be seeing that hydrogen and helium atoms, that is helium elements. And in the second shell, lithium, barium, boron, carbon and nitrogen, oxygen and fluorine and neon. In this, you will be observing these are the inert gases, right? This is the last element. This is the last column in which you will be observing the inert gases in the periodic table. And now you are seeing that what we have learned, that is Newland's law of octaves, right? In this Newland's law of octaves, here you are observing that the law of octaves, that is the first element will be having the same properties of the 8th element. That is, 8th element is repeating the properties of the first. So here we are considering the first element is hydrogen, and we are excluding the inert gases in this property. So the first element is hydrogen, and the second one comes lithium, third barium, and fourth boron, carbon fifth, and nitrogen sixth, and oxygen seventh. So from hydrogen to oxygen, the 7 elements have been finished, right? And the 8th element, which is fluorine, is repeating the same properties of hydrogen. Therefore, we can say hydrogen, fluorine are coming into one group. So again the same process is repeating. That is hydrogen, fluorine, chlorine and carbon, cobalt and nickel. And these all will come in one category, that is law of octaves. In the same manner, you will be seeing that sodium, potassium and copper, zinc will come in one group of elements. In this way, he has classified classified based upon the 7 elements like that. The law of octaves has been followed in this periodic classification of Newland's of law of octaves. Okay, I hope you are clear with this. Just you have to learn how he has classified the groups based upon 7 elements, counting of 7 elements. That's it. This is the modern periodic table as per us. The disadvantage of Newland's law of octaves is the recent elements, that is the newly discovered elements such as thorium, after thorium, that is potassium, platinum, uranium, neptunium, plutonium. All these elements which are discovered after the Newland's law of octaves are not following the rule of law of octaves. This is the drawback of Newland's law of octaves, and these are not following the properties of law of octaves, that is the counting of 7